And we got leaks. We got leaks everywhere. Okay, well, that went awful.
It started.
Alright guys, so welcome back to the mini bike build series. Now in this video, the goal is to listen to this thing run. That doesn't necessarily mean ride it, maybe. Haven't ruled it out, but I want to get this thing wired in and listen to it fire up. So what we gotta do is we gotta wire everything, put all that stuff on, gas tank, and first thing we gotta do is the exhaust. Now why am I doing the exhaust first? A, pretty intimidated by it because I think it's gonna be the hardest part to do. And B, if I don't have the exhaust on, I'm gonna fire it up and make the neighbors upset, and I know that's what's gonna happen, so we're gonna do the exhaust first. Wish me luck. Let's get nasty. The plan for the exhaust is I want it to come down here, loop up, and then somehow go around this way to get away from the carburetor and everything, and then run underneath the seat, and then come out back here with the tailpipe. That's the plan. So what I got for this is I got the exhaust off the parts bike. We're going to use part of that. I'd like to kind of get it like this. Something like that if we can. But I got to figure out how to make this all happen. Now, something else I don't know how to do that we're going to figure out together. Yay, sports. This is like legitimately my first time coming down and looking at the exhaust off the motor to see if I could, I was going to try to see if I could get the, oh my gosh, I almost hit myself, see if this flange would work. And it looks like this. So the flange goes up here and the pipe sits in there. I've never seen an exhaust like that in my life. I don't know. That's going to leak like a lot because I don't know what to do on that. But that flange won't work, so let's go out to the shed and get the exhaust off the old Barber Jeep and see if that will work for a flange, or I'm going to build a flange. Odds are I'm building a flange because that doesn't look like any flange I've ever seen in my entire life. And of course, it's got to be dark out now. Okay, so we'll grab the flashlight. There. Okay. We're looking for an exhaust. The exhaust back in that corner. Okay. Ow, I hit my head. There we go. That flange doesn't look like it's going to work either. That's a big old muffler. Alright. Well, I might be able to use this part to put a heat shield on. I got the right. Give it a shot. Just did a little bit of research over on eBay, and apparently that the exhaust does have like a flange that sticks out, and looks like there's a little O-ring that goes in there, so I'll have to figure out how to get one of those O-rings. It shouldn't be a problem, so I just have to make the exhaust kind of flare, which will be easy since I know how to do all of that, right? I guess here we go. Alright, the part of the flange that connects to the motor and then the part that goes up and plugs that hole is done. Now if you're wondering, isn't this thing going to leak? I would say, yeah, it's probably going to leak. I'll try to find a gasket or something to control that, but how we're going to do this with all these bends, because I'm not going to be able to bend it, what I'm going to use, I'm actually going to just pie piece it. I'm just going to cut a whole bunch of little pieces and then weld up the loop, come up with a straight. That's kind of the plan, but this actually turned out decent. So now the fun part comes of putting everything, still hot, putting everything back together. So my thought is that as long as I get the end started and the beginning started, it should be easier to kind of make them meet in the middle So I've got the first pipe tack welded, right? That comes off of the actual motor exhaust, comes up. And then I'm trying to get my exhaust pipe exactly where I want it to sit, and just making little cuts in the pipe and bending it and shaping it. I'll weld that back together, and then we're just gonna figure out a way to kind of taper them and make them connect in the middle. That's kind of the plan. There was a 1 bracket on this muffler, and that's what I'm using to get this thing stabilized. I'm gonna have to get this to sit how I want. Probably zip tie is probably what I'm gonna do. But so far, honestly, it hasn't been as hard and as bad as I anticipated it. For my first exhaust, I don't think it looks super bad. The entire exhaust is gonna probably all the way up to about there was gonna get wrapped in the heat tape anyway, so you're not gonna see the welds or anything like that. Am I concerned with the fact there's about an inch gap between the air filter and the exhaust? Not really, because I think that heat tape is gonna keep that heat down. I don't know if I'm gonna need any heat shields because of that tape, so I'm gonna just hold off on that because I think I'm gonna be okay. It's mounted back here, it's mounted at the motor. I was gonna do a third mount kind of up in this area, but I don't think it needs it. It's pretty sturdy. So with that being said, I kind of just want to see this thing really get together before I start on the crappy wiring. And it should be not too hard, so we're gonna install the gas tank and we're gonna install the seat mounts right now. Gas tank should be pretty simple. Get it to where it's not gonna get hit by the handlebars. Do a plate up here with a mounting bolt, plate back here with a mounting bolt, and that should mount the gas tank, and that should give me enough to run it right to the carburetor. Pretty much, yep. And then the seat, I haven't even opened the seat yet, so I don't even know how that gets installed, but that's gonna go back here. And then I think, because we're gonna have hopefully gauges that let us know neutral or reverse, and then we need a key spot, so I think the plate will be right here. So I probably should plate this whole thing more than likely, that way it'll allow me like a switch column thing there. Yeah, we'll make a big plate here, little plate here, and then let's figure out what this thing looks like, figure out how to open this. I'll open this, install this. It's really nice that I had a whole bunch of boxes and packages over on the workbench taking up so much space, and now it's starting to dwindle, which is pretty nice, pretty nice. Came with mounting bolts, which is awesome, because this motor didn't even come with any bolts for the exhaust, so I had to figure that out. Comes with a shower cap. Wow! Part of me says leave the shower cap on, at least for now. Well, let's get a look at her. Oh yeah. Cool. So there's just, so this thing actually, to keep my mounting holes usable, this thing's got to sit right here, which doesn't give me a lot of room there that I wanted. Either way, need a plate here, need a plate here. Let's cut, drill some holes, weld some stuff, do all the stuff that we've done 1,000 times so far. Let's put the shower cap back on the seat though, because she's too nice to get ruined by sparks. Alright, so officially the first things that are like fully installed are your seat and your gas tank. So now what I want to do is I think I'm going to work on getting the controls up here, the throttle, because I know that the moment that I fire this motor up, I know the first thing that I'm going to want to do is ride it. So I want to get everything to that point so I don't fire it up and then have to keep doing stuff, because I'll be too itchy to ride it. Putting the shower cap back on the thing. I want to protect the seat. So I've got the throttle. Alright, we'll figure this out. And then I've got this bracket here. I also have all the brake stuff that came with this too, all the new throttle cables and everything. So this cable throttles into here. Something like that comes off there. I'm gonna run that wire to the carburetor. I am not a mechanic. I don't really know how to do this kind of stuff. Like, we're getting to the point where I know I said I didn't know how to do stuff before, but this takes it to a whole new level if I don't know what I'm doing. let's see if this all can figure this out together as one unit. So we're gonna slide that cable here, and then we'll tighten her down. Call that good for right now. Grab that cable like that, and then this. Get her nice and snug. You probably can't see half of what I'm doing. And we're gonna take and drop all the screws you can, because that's kind of the point of it. Do that. Grab our friend Philip. Probably should tighten this all the way when it's on the bike. Just a hair and a half. You can't even see me. Forgot to move the camera. Oh gosh, Skylar G, don't be mad. Don't be mad. Bring you back up to there so you can watch me. Okay, cool. And I just gotta figure out to run this cable. I'll probably end up drilling holes in there so that they can feed through and not worry about them catching on anything. I've got a box full of supposedly the kit that you need for all the wiring. Pretty cool. I haven't really looked into it because it looks absolutely terrible. There's 1,000 wires in there, and then I do have a battery. This has been the thing that I'm like, if the jack shaft doesn't explode, can I wire it up? And that's where we're at, because there's a bunch of wires, and I hope this thing has some wiring instructions, but I was thinking that probably didn't. And it doesn't look like it does. There's no wiring, there's no instructions. No instructions. Yay! Alright, we're going to take a second and try to work on this, and then we'll be back to trying to wire this up. So the bike motor or the wiring kit, either one came with 0 wiring instructions. So I'm going to start with the kill switch. I runs from the handlebar, obviously. Everything looks like it should be almost plug and play, I'm hoping. And hopefully it's just color coding and that kind of stuff. So that's what we're gonna hope happens. There's actually a light switch on here, which I didn't know that had, so that's pretty cool. We're gonna just start putting stuff on and trying to see if things will plug in together, I guess. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. I've gotten this far, right? I am way over my head on this. I got wires that I don't know where they plug into. Everything's connected to the motor except for this plug, which is probably a pretty important plug, but nothing seems to plug straight in there. I think these are lights. I know obviously the battery connectors, stuff like that. The ground, which goes somewhere. I got this that goes to the spark plug. I don't know where those wires go to. So I'm going to start doing some research, see if I can figure something out, maybe find a wiring diagram online or something. This was the problem that I figured was going to be a problem. So, alright, so I found a video where this guy breaks down exactly how to wire this thing up, and he breaks it down really, really well. If I remember, I'll try to link him in the description, just in case you wanted to tackle this yourself. So I think everything is, hopefully, there's only one wire that I have a discrepancy with what he said on, so hopefully we're good there. I have a whole set of wires that comes off the motor. I'm assuming this is for the shift indicator lights. I'm not sure, because he didn't talk about that, and his didn't have one. I think we're about to the point. I gotta figure out what to do with all this mumbo jumbo of a mess. Somehow we're gonna have to hide it up here. I had to take off the gas tank in the seat to give me some room, some access here. So I'm gonna try to get this thing figured out, get everything up out of the way. I gotta get oil for the motor because it doesn't come with any oil in it. And then hopefully charge up, make sure the battery's charged up, and then hopefully we'll be good for our first start. Alright, so I got this small little bracket. I've got this stud on here. What I'm going to use these things for is just to get that bracketry to get like the modules and everything up in these inner rails. And then basically I'm just going to weld a bunch of nuts in there on the side that I'll be able to stick zip ties through and zip tie everything up and get everything out of the way. Should make it look clean. And then after that, we'll start making, I got to make the panel for the fuel shut off and for the key. But other than that, everything should be else should be tucked up and under there. I have the wires mostly up and out of the way. I still need to add some more, but I didn't want to do all the welding around the wires until I have the motor back out. Here's where the switch is going to be. Here's the gas on and off. I might change that over to a different style. I was able to get the throttle, I think, hooked up right. The battery's just sitting there. Eventually, I'm going to build, well, eventually next, I'm going to build a box for it right here, but you can see the wires. This needs to get tucked up a little more, but other than that, we're right there. So right now, I need to put gas in it, oil in it, and then I think we're good to test it. I'm nervous because once I introduce gasoline into this tank and into around here, welding, grinding, that's done. Can't do that anymore until everything's cleaned up, taken care of. This is really the moment of truth because if I get this thing fired up, I'm going to want to ride it. And I'll probably just duct tape the battery to the frame so I can ride it and see if that jack shaft explodes. Fluid's in. We'll try starting her up. And we got leaks. We got leaks everywhere. Cool. What do I do? I don't know. Good camera. We got leaks everywhere. I need towels. It's literally leaking everywhere. All over my wires, everything. Awesome. Shoot. I need a cup. How is it leaking at the factory surplus sale right there? How? How is it leaking already? Okay, well, that went awful. Alright, we got gas absolutely everywhere. I got that. Stop leaking. We got oil in it. I think we're ready. I think we're ready to try to fire this thing up. Will it fire up the first time? I'm going to tell you probably not. I bet you this is going to be a horrible problem, but let's see. Alright. Nervous. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be just a go. I figured we were going to have some problems, so just was hoping that it would have fired, though. See, it's not got a consistent, so that worries me a little bit. But it's trying, which is nice. You know, that's nice. It smells like gas in here really bad. Not from me. Well, from me, but not from me. It ran! It is really smoky in here though, but it ran! Did you guys not hear that? I think you did. Oh my gosh. Whew. Yeah, let's get some of that out of here. Dude, it rattled all the bolts loose though, like that I had on here. However, I gotta figure out how to adjust the idle on it. That's what I gotta do. But it started, it ran. And I don't know if you could see it. I engaged and I was able to get the back tire to spin. I don't know if you could see that. There's smoke everywhere. It is stupid loud. So I hope that I can get that idle down. Which I should. I think it's probably the screw right there. But it's getting hot right there.
It started.
Whew, didn't think that was going to happen. Whew. Wow. Pretty exciting. Except for I really want to ride it right now. But it's almost 9:30 at night and I'm in my pajamas and I won't show you the lower half. Look at all this smoke though. I kind of want to restart it. Oh, like it rattled. Yeah. I kind of want to restart it and see if I can adjust the idle on it to get it to not be so loud. Alright, so I tried to adjust the idle on it. It didn't want to work. I wonder if maybe it's got to do with the throttle inside. I'm not sure. But for right now, I'm hoping to try to take this thing for a ride. I did just have it running, and I gave it some throttle, and it snapped my master link in half on the chain. So, put a new one on. The battery is literally duct taped to the frame. I don't know if I can get it restarted or not. I had to start it with the drill because I don't know. Maybe it's just a new motor trying to break in, but I'm going to try to ride it. Might be a terrible idea because that chain is like crazy and the exhaust starts smoking. It's getting so hot. So, whatever. Okay, so I spent a lot of time on dealing with this thing, trying to get this thing to stop revving so high. I tried to adjust that carburetor on that it was on here, and it did not want to adjust at all. I put a different carburetor on here, because remember I said I thought that they screwed me out of a part. They didn't. I had an extra carburetor. I put this one on. This one's way better to adjust. The idle is a lot better. Still having a lot of issues. Whenever I go to rev it or take the choke off, it instantly dies. So I know that it's a little problem that I gotta somehow play with to get figured out. But I think we can get this thing at least maybe moving for me by the end of the video. So let's fire this thing up. Maybe I'll put it on the ground, and maybe I'll just see if I can scooch through the shop. Maybe. Because listen to this. That is way better than what it was. Way better. I'm going to put this thing over there. See if I can drive it across the shop. So I moved. I did move. That was not sounding very well. Okay, so it did move me. Like, I was able to move, but I have a problem, which is one of those things where you're going to run into that in this moment, in this situation. The problem is this chain is too loose. Now, it was tight, but then I think the chain set itself correctly and loosened it. I think I'm going to have to build another tensioner right here to come up, because this just spins, and it causes this chain to just spin over this gear. But with that being said, she starts up. She needs a little fine-tuning, a little adjustment, but she will start. She did move. I think that this is a good part to stop the video because I'm in a positive mood. Last video, we end things in a downer. So this one, we're going to end things in an upper. A lot more work to do left on this thing, but we'll tackle that on the next video. Hopefully the next video, we actually get to fully ride this thing. Harbor Freight 212 Predator motor would have been the way to go. Wouldn't have been nearly this complicated. What are we going to do?